Welcome back, subscribers. This is Johnny Hopper, and in today's track preview, we're going to go over Lakewood, Colorado. This is going to be round 3 of the AMA 2019 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. And I thought my front end was tweaked a little bit, so I'm trying to straighten it here and trying to do it the cheater way so that I don't have to loosen up my handlebar mounts and the triple clamps, because I need to buy some Trig aftermarket triple clamps, because any stock bike that comes with their factory triple clamps, they suck. If you just barely tip over, it seems like the front end always gets tweaked, and you're like, man, what the fuck? My bars are bent, and it's not actually that your bars are bent. But this is me coming up to Lakewood because if you've watched my videos, you know I'm going to try to qualify for the National, and God, it's been since 2016 since I've actually raced the Lakewood National. Again, I'm just a little bit just my background. You know, I spent, 2.5 years on the sideline because of an injury, and I won't go into depth, but just lots of surgeries, lots of PT later. I'm able to ride a motorcycle again, so I decided to come up here to Lakewood to try to get in a couple 30-minute motos, and my fitness, surprisingly, feels great. I actually did 2 40-minute motos, but my pace just doesn't seem quite there like it used to be. I don't know if I'm just timid, where I'm not willing to push that envelope anymore, where this isn't my job, and I don't really want to get hurt again. Maybe it's some PTSD from just previous injuries. I just feel like there's more to life than motorcycles. I'm not riding every day anymore, so I don't know, my pace isn't quite there, but surprisingly, I'm not getting any arm pump, and I can ride decent for quite a long time, which I'm happy about. Perhaps there's a little bit of saltiness there and resentment. I felt like I left the sport with my best years ahead of me when things started finally coming together with an opportunity to get on a team, and not a factory team, but a supported team, which would still been better for me. But everything happens for a reason, and I haven't really wanted to ride too much, which I guess I understand. But I hope there's a lot of other people out there that have had better stories than me, and I can't stay away from the sport. I want to give back to the sport, and when you do something long enough, this was really the only thing that I was more or less exceptional at. And once you don't have that, you're like, man, nobody's watching me, nobody's paying attention to me. What do I do? And I remember always just loving the attention that I got from motorcycles because, you're good at it. But anyway, this track was super muddy. It was raining all week long. So I went up there with the intention to try to get my lap times right around that 2:15 range, because that's what the qualifying times were last year, and that was kind of thrown out the window once the track was this muddy, because in the mud you got to try to ride a little bit gear taller, and when it's real slippery and slushy like this, you can't come in hot and slam on your brakes because your front end will just wash out. So it's more or less sort of coasting into corners and kind of letting the mud slow you down. And there's a lot of movement on the motorcycle where you have to move back and forth because of the fact that mud is slushing, and it's actually pretty hard on the bike itself because you're slipping the clutch quite a bit to keep it moving forward. Along with every lap, the bike just seems to get heavier and heavier, because I wanted to try to do some testing on my suspension as well to try to get a good setup for when the National comes along. And I do understand what they do with the Nationals. They bring in a bunch of dirt, and they also make the jumps quite a bit bigger, so that's a factor as well. But I wanted to try to get just as much practice as I possibly could, because I'm a weekend warrior at this point. I seem to ride maybe once a week or so, and the drive quite isn't there anymore. So we're just going to go there, interact with some fans, and have some fun, and hopefully not squid out too bad and get in anybody's way. But man, this track was just super slush. Oh, as you can see there, too hard on the brake, and what did it do? It grabbed my front wheel and stood me straight up, and I am off the track. Just for shits and giggles, and let's see how slow I am and how the track conditions can make you slower. So let me just get a lap timer here out. So I know there's some lappers in the way, but this is probably minute 15 or so off my GoPro footage into my 35-minute moto. And I know my best lap times on this track before were right around the 212 to 214 range. I know they changed little itty-bitty things on the track as far as there used to be some S corners here, and now they're a little bit longer and such. But I don't expect to be near that close, especially with the way the track is, how sloppy it is. You're more or less coasting around a lot of the corners, and you're stuck to either the far outside or the very far inside because you just get stopped right in the middle, because the dirt here at Lakewood is this kind of clay texture, but then they take a lot of the dirt off the road, and I don't know if that's just cheaper to dump out here, but this stuff is about damn near impossible to get off, and it's super hard on the motorcycle, especially the chain and the bearings if you don't wash the bike right away. I know I ended up spending close to $25 at a car wash just to try to get this shit off my dirt bike. And this is probably one of the fastest section. If you remember, this is where Tomac ended up losing the championship and hurting his shoulder. It should be a fairly fast downhill, but because of all that mud there, you're kind of at the mercy of just the track conditions. And this corner is just like super sloppy. I always liked this jump. This was a nice booter that you could more or less whip off of. I didn't do that big of a whip, but we'll just take it as is. And right now I'm already at 140. I would not be qualifying if the lap times were the same as last year. I think the cutoff was right around that 215. So I'm going to come back up here next weekend to try to get a good suspension setup and also try to put down some hard motos, because riding around 80% or so, I feel good for a couple 40-minute motos. And I know in a race situation, your heart rate is pumping right away. I tried to have my heart rate monitor on me today, or at the time of filming, but my Polar I forgot to charge it, so it wasn't there. And I would suspect that I'm probably doing 160 at the moment. It's not super pegged. When I'm really trying, I'm right around that 180, 200 mark. So yeah, I'm 232. That's, like I said, that's 15 seconds off, which is not anywhere close to where it should be. So that's more or less me, and it's got some stuff to do with the riding conditions. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this track preview, and let me know if you guys like these. I will make more of these wherever I end up going. Signing off. Oh, and by the way, remember, once I reach 10,000 subscribers, I am getting a giveaway for some new Fly Zone Pro goggles. The goggles I'm actually wearing right now. I actually really like them. I think the quality's right up there with Oakley and 100% and Scott. Their tear-offs, however, they got a little bit of a design flaw in their tear-offs. So if you want to look at my review on that, it is on my channel. But all you have to do to enter is like my channel, subscribe, put on post notifications, and follow me on Instagram, and also put a comment in the comments below just with your Instagram account. So once I reach that 10,000 subscribe number, I will go through my comments and I will pick a lucky winner, and I will private message you, and I will send you some of these awesome goggles. So thanks for watching, guys. Be smart, ride safe, and bop.